Hello, guys. Thank you for joining me today. So, last weekend I did my work hits, some kind of. I did not actually synchronize, to have time to actually record and comment through them because my alliance leader asked me to do some hits because there were some weak targets that weren't killed, and we didn't have any people online at that moment to take them, so I had to do that, and I wasn't able to record my hits. And with the latest Telluria nerfing going on, and with everything that's been happening with this game, I don't know if you guys are following the forum lately, but there has been a thread where beta testers, and I'm one of the beta testers as well, have exposed Small Giant for using a seed RNG, uh, somewhat tables, somewhat similar to what slots use. So, for example, if you go to play at a casino and you're going to play slots, so you go to an electronic device that has like a five reel spinning uh, software, and you press on a button and the reel starts spinning, and then you see a combination that tells you if you win or lose. So you might think that that's somewhat random, it's related to some mechanic device, but all of that, it's actually pre generated. So a usual slot machine has about 15 to 16 million combinations already saved in its memory. So every time you press a button, it calculates how much money um, it managed to take from people that are playing, and then based on the percentage that that machine is set to give back, it will give you either a winning RNG seed or losing RNG seed. So yeah, most slot machines are set to 5%, so they only keep 5% of the total amount of money that the players insert. So 95% is usually given back to the players. It might not give you all the money or more money than you actually inserted, but every winning table, it's taken into consideration when it calculates those. So how does that relate to our game? So Small a Giant, some time back when Empires and Puzzles was initially launched, it used to generate all the actual boards on their server. So the RNG algorithm didn't use preset RNG seeds. So like a table where it has all the possible combinations that are on the board. Um, it used to generate those on the on Small Giant servers, but after some time, when the game became more popular, people were starting to see a lot of lag within the game, and of course, with a ton of players actually uh, you know playing the game at the same time, the servers were over their capacity. So Small Giant made a change in their code so that all the RNG seeds are generated actually on your own device, basically on the client, and validated on the server. And that can also be seen for the training camps, for example. So when you do a summon, being it a free token or epic hero token or gems or whatever, those are actually randomly generated by the server, because it will be possible for people to actually tamper with the RNG code. Having a jailbroken iPhone, for example, you could actually alter the code and get whatever heroes you want, but they have to validate those with the server. But for lower training camps, for example like TC1 or 2, where you get 1 star and 2 stars, those are actually generated on your own device. So if you want to get only 2 stars from your TC Two, for example, you could jailbreak your iPhone, reverse engineer the code, and modify the random generator to actually be not be a random generator anymore and give you only 2-star heroes. And that could be said for the boards as well, but it's not actually. I mean, it's possible to do it, but the chances of small giant finding out are pretty high. Yeah, so recently a thread has been created on the forum where some beta testers exposed this fact, and the fact that the boards that players, I mean, there's a way for players, for beta players, to actually tell what boards are going to come, when going into a raid or a stage from the map, by just opening the beta application, go to a raid, press play, and then immediately at the same time you can just flee from the raid and open the non-beta application, and you will see the same board. So basically the team doesn't matter. You can just analyze the board. For example, if you have a yellow diamond right out of the bat, you can just go mono yellow, and that will give you a pretty high advantage. Anyway, that has been fixed by Small Giant today, so because it was quite a big fuss, and they actually fixed that immediately after it was exposed. But this exploit has been lingering around in the game for about 2 years or maybe more. So yeah, if you guys don't follow the forums, maybe you should try to get over there from time to time, because there might be some interesting stuff. So coming back to my war hits, as I said, I didn't manage to actually record them properly, so I could just merge them, put some music on the background, and just post them. But I really wanted to discuss about this because this is a really interesting topic, and I would like to do some review of my hits. So those were some pretty good hits, so there's I don't think there's too much to comment on those. But yeah, that being said, let's get into them. So I've attacked weaker targets. That's why I afforded to use my mono blue team for a one shot. And as you guys can see, I got some pretty good boards. I'm not gonna give you any spoilers of how this actually ends, but you'll have to see it for yourself. So yeah, this was a pretty good move. Take the first two heroes out. Just snipe Heimdall in June, and then use tiles to kill Zinkita. She's a red and weak against blue. So yeah, there's not too much really to comment on this hit. As you guys see, it's pretty straightforward. It was just a very good board, and everything was over in a matter of few turns. So as you can see, hitting non-Telluria targets, the tanks like Heimdall, can be pretty easy at times, especially if you get a good board. But still, even with a average board or bad board at the beginning, as you guys see in my next hits, it's still possible to win. And as you can see, this wasn't a really good board. After playing some moves, yeah, it improved a lot, but still not the best of the boards. It's very important to take Finlay out if you have the chance, because I mean, even though if he's weak against my greens, he can still do a lot of damage, because with Telluria buff going on and elemental debuff, elemental links going on, he can just wreck the entire team. But this one was a pretty straightforward fight as well. The board was bad at the beginning. I just made some move, tried to improve it, and then just got the diamond and basically steamrolled the defense. And I think this will be the theme of the entire video. Good boards. Yeah, so right now I was just scanning for other targets that I can hit. I mean, when I said easier targets, I meant non-Telluria tanks, because this one has almost 100 emblems, and Gravemaker Finley Kingston is a pretty decent tank as well. So hell, it's not an easy defense to take on, but still should be easier than facing Telluria. So I made a small change to my teams. As you guys can see, I finally managed to max my second yellow mana troop. So right now I'm using that on I've actually switched Guinevere with Molossi, which is really good hero. So as you can see, this board wasn't that good at the beginning, but I still was somewhat lucky to get some tiles to charge my very fast heroes at least. Yeah, so I wasn't actually sure who should I take out first, but Amalos is really good, especially against heroes that deal dot damage or do a debuffs to your team, because he can basically block their special. And sometimes it can also, heroes like Black Knight can be rendered completely useless by Molossi. And right now it's really important to take out Finley, because with all these buffs that I have going on, he can basically wipe out my whole team. And yeah, the board wasn't really good at the beginning, but in the end it worked out. Yeah, so these are my first 3 hits. I really don't like doing them like that, but yeah, I had to do it. So now let's just go to the second part. I think this happened like 1 hour after I did my first 3 hits, since we were close to the 12-hour mark of the war when we get the second round of flags. So I think I went after the same targets, most probably. I can't really remember. Yeah, so Heimdall tanks. Heimdall, I mean, people say he's a good tank, but I don't really see why he is a good tank. I mean, of course, if he manages to fire multiple times, he can put some ridiculous amounts of HP on your heroes, but still he doesn't really do anything. He gives a small attack buff that you can easily dispel, and you can still feed him with tiles, and most probably nothing bad will happen to your team. So yeah, this was a good starting board. It has a decent number of purples, but as you guys can see, purples ran out pretty fast, so I had to make some moves. So really important aspect, as almost everyone that does war hits on YouTube always reiterates: when you have room to ghost, don't hesitate, just do that, because I've seen people that actually go ahead and start dumping tiles into 1 or 2 remaining heroes, and then those heroes just start sniping their own heroes one by one. So never do that. Always, when you have room to ghost, try to ghost. If there's no move possible, to maybe on the side where there are no enemy heroes, maybe try to make a move that will not charge the enemy heroes. So maybe that way you'll get some more moves on the other side where you can easily ghost. So right now I have one of my weaker teams, and I was really thinking what target I could really get. And then I saw this Cadillac, which of course works really well because Cadillac it's an AoE attacker, and I have Sif, which reflects damage, and the chances that Cadillac will actually hit Sif's reflect are much higher than when you go against a sniper tank. Still, a sniper tank is better. This team is not really suited to go against healer tanks like Heimdall because they don't deal damage, and the chances that the tank will charge are pretty high. So yeah, this one was a pretty good board as well. Not too much for me to do. One move basically charged all my yellows and killed the tank. So in here I think yeah, I didn't make the mistake. So I thought I would go after the left side, but the left side are snipers which can kill by themselves. But with teams that don't have too many attackers, it's important to go after the passive heroes like Aegir or Jean-Francois, because if you don't, yeah, here I made the mistake. I just pressed the diamond without looking at my heroes when I could have used Onatel on those two to get more mana. But it's important to go after passive heroes when you don't have too many attackers, because if you're using reflect like I'm using here, it's almost impossible to kill them, especially if they are healers, when you don't have snipers. But with heroes like June or Obakan, especially that hits 3, they can basically kill themselves. Yeah, so this one was pretty straightforward as well, and I could also take on a weaker team where the last team was my mono red team, so I didn't really want to leave all the Telluria tanks to my teammates, so I said maybe I can help out and take a Telluria tank as well, because my mono red team is pretty strong and usually wins against Telluria tanks, at least most of the time. I was just searching for a target that has the most points or level 30 troops, something like that. Yeah, like this one is a pretty hard team. It has lower troops, but all of them had pretty low troops, but this one has a lot of emblems and pretty good heroes in. So I just use my mono red team. For this war, I actually completed my second red mana troop, and right now I will be able to use my 11 mana troop on Grzul to make her charge in 6 tiles, and my level 23 troop now can go to Mitsuko, which is really important against defenses that have Vela. So in here I could just have made that red match, but I didn't really want to, because I tried to get more red tiles because Vela wasn't close to be charged, and I knew I could get Mitsuko if I made that match. So yeah, but red tiles didn't really come up, so yeah. And that move where I didn't use Grzul was actually a pretty good move, because there wasn't any point. My life was almost full on all the heroes, and if I used Grzul, she would have basically been wasted, because Orsina was about to fire anyway. So as you can see, this board started pretty good, but there wasn't really too much continuation to it. So even though he has only 2 heroes, he can still probably win. I mean, if I don't really get any red tiles and he starts killing off my healers like Grazul or Ares, then yeah. So here I just thought I'll charge Gravemaker because I have Grazul anyway, and there weren't too many reds on the board, so having him charge would reduce the amount of damage that I would take from his special. And this one, I think it was a pretty bad move going after June, because when you have the chance to kill a hero, you should definitely go for it. Because as you can see right now, at the end I probably got lucky, especially with arrows when you don't have full healers, for example, that like Ariel or Regard or stuff like that. You can lose pretty quickly, especially if they manage to fire once or twice. Then as you can see, this one I probably won it. Yeah, look how close this one was. So I made that mistake, went after June, and then I almost lost it. But yeah, in the end I managed to win it, and this is my 6th one-shot war, and we actually won the war. So yeah, thank you guys, and sorry for not doing this properly. I promise you next time won't happen. And one more thing as well, as you guys know, I'm free to play right now. I didn't really invest any money, but I can't really resist competing these events. So I did some runs in here. Maybe I will record something. I don't really have any refills, I don't have any gems, and I used my 2 flasks already. So maybe I will do like a short run, for example complete rare, because I've already done 5 stages. This one 6 needs to be replayed because that score is too low. So yeah, thank you guys, and see you next time. Bye.